Hi guys, so as you can see from the title, I finally got around to a get ready with me video. So that is what I'm going to be showing you today. This is just going to be kind of a, not like a full-on tutorial maybe, but I am going to show you all the products that I use in getting ready. I am priming my face with a tinted moisturizer that I haven't used in a really long time and totally did not love today. So I'm not gonna like tell you to run out and buy it or anything, because I wasn't in love with it. I just wanted to use it because I hadn't for a while. So I use, a couple of different primers, depending on what the day is like. And I want to apologize for this being really washed out. I do not have the setup for a really good makeup video since I'm not a beauty guru. I don't have any lighting. So I am filming this in front of, I'm sitting at my desk, which is in front of like a wall of windows, which gives really awesome natural light, which is fantastic. However, when I looked at it, I thought there was a better balance. That is my coverall from Wet n Wild, which is a super cheap foundation that I really love. It's like $2, $3, $4 depending on where you get it from. I get mine at Walmart usually, or Walgreens, and I'm sure there's lots of other places that have it too. I think it probably depends on where you buy it as to what the price is, but it's really cheap and it's very, it's quite a full coverage foundation. It's kind of like a dryer. That's my Garnier BB Cream, which I use with my Morphe brush. Like I put a little bit of that on to kind of mix with my Wet n Wild foundation, because I feel like the Wet n Wild, it's kind of hard to blend, and it's not a very, like, it's kind of thick and it's almost like a drier type of quality. So I really like the coverage and the color that it provides for me, but I like to mix it with something that's more moisturizing, like a BB cream, and then it blends much better and it just looks really nice in my opinion. So that's kind of how I usually use that foundation. I don't typically use it like totally on its own by itself. And there is a really limited range of colors for that foundation. So if you're going to look at purchasing it, just know that they are really limited as to how many colors they have. So I think a lot of people do like mix it either two different colors of that foundation or with something else, because it is pretty limiting. So if you don't fit right into the few categories that they have, then it's hard to make it work. But I tend to mix foundations anyway. That's just something that I do a lot of. And by the way, this brush is amazing. I'm sure if you watch makeup tutorials, I'm sure you've seen this Morphe brush before. It's fantastic. I've had it for a while now, and it's just like the best foundation brush ever. I love it. It buffs it in so nicely, and it doesn't soak up too much product, and it's just the right size. Everything about it is great. And Morphe is really affordable too, in terms of price point. So that is Hard Candy Glamoflauge concealer. And I'm going to do just a little bit of concealing on my face. I don't do a lot, but I usually have like, I don't know, a couple spots of discoloration. I don't have a lot of issues with active breakouts. It doesn't happen that often. But I have discoloration from time to time. So I do conceal a little bit. And that Glamoflauge is really great in terms of full coverage concealer, and it's, a drugstore product that's really inexpensive. You'll notice throughout this that I use mostly all drugstore products. I go back and forth with, like, I'll do some high-end for a while, but truth be told, I tend to stick more to drugstore than anything, because I've found a lot of things that I like and that work for me. And my daily routine, which this is a pretty like average daily routine for me, doesn't change a lot. I tend to not do like drastically different makeup on a day-to-day basis, Monday through Friday. I kind of stick in my wheelhouse of what works for me. So that's kind of what I'm showing you today. There'll be some variances on exactly what I do, but I kind of tend to do the same go-to look every day. And then if I have a special event, or if we're going to do something on the weekend or whatnot, I might, go for a different look, but I don't switch it up a lot day to day. So my brows here, I use a lot of different brow products. I change it up a lot because I always want to try different things. This is a pencil from Jordana, which is just a really cheap drugstore pencil that I got at Walgreens. I have been using the Dip Brow from Anastasia for a long time, and I do absolutely love that. But I've been using it for so long, like I wanted to kind of go back and use a pencil again and just see how I feel about it. And I really like having a pencil. I feel like in a lot of ways it's like a quicker option than using like the pomade with a brush. So I kind of go back and forth. But I just wanted to kind of get into a pencil again, and then maybe I'm going to try some powders again. But the Anastasia Dip Brow is what I have been wearing on a daily basis forever. I think, I don't even know how long. I don't know, 2 years at least. But I use like a variety of different things. Honestly, I have like a bunch of different brow products in my makeup stash, and I'll just kind of every once in a while switch it up to something different. So the consistency of this pencil is kind of waxy. It's not like a really dry pencil. It's nice in terms of it kind of makes your brow hairs stick, you know, wherever you brush them into place, and I like that. I tend to have like unruly brow hairs. They don't like to stay in place, which is why I like a product like the Dip Brow pomade, because it helps your brows stay in place really well. So like I used the Dip Brow yesterday, but you know, this day I used a pencil. So like I said, I kind of go back and forth. And I also do go in here with a little bit of powder. It's just actually an eyeshadow color that's really close to my brows. Sometimes I'll kind of run that over a pencil. Also, just on a note, my brows are lightened. Because my hair is highlighted, I'm sure you can tell. My natural hair color is very dark. I have really, really dark brown hair. And so my eyebrows are really dark too. And that makes them really difficult to fill in without looking harsh. So I like to lighten my brows, even just a little bit. A lot of the times when my hair is not even highlighted and it's its natural color. But especially if my hair is highlighted really blonde like it is now, then my natural color brows, especially once I go and fill them in, and I always fill my brows in because my natural brows, I mean, if you look at the difference, huge difference because my natural brows suck. But my natural color brows look really harsh with my highlighted hair. So I do lighten them with just a bleach, a facial hair bleach product. So then, you know, I need a lighter brow product, which like in the Dip Brow, I have soft brown that I'm using right now, whereas I would typically use like dark brown with my natural hair color. Just to kind of give you a reference point on that. I am going to go in with, this is the Color Stay, just a cream shadow with a flat brush kind of as a base. Some days I don't do this. Some days I just kind of will wash over my eyelids with a shadow color that matches my skin tone to kind of set the like foundation that I went over my eyelids with earlier, and then I'll go right in with my eye look. And then some days I like to do kind of a cream base on it, so it really varies, but I was like putting all the effort in today for my basic, quote-unquote, basic look. So I went with the cream base. It really does help in terms of, you know, your product staying. And I love this bronze color in this product line. I have a bunch of different colors in these, and it's awesome in terms of doing a look that has staying power. And it really makes it nice to blend like different products over it too, I think. So this is a Milani palette that I love. It's got a lot of like bronzy warm colors, and I use it a lot on a daily basis. I just go in with that kind of like lighter, really warm orangish brown color in my crease, and I do cheat like up above my crease a fair amount. My eyes are, I feel like I have a really difficult eye shape in terms of doing eyeshadow and whatnot. I have very small, like almond shaped eyes, and they're also partially hooded. So when my eyes are just open, you don't see a lot of what's going on my mobile lid. So I cheat up above my crease, so that it helps to make my eyes look a little bit bigger and to see a little bit more of the shadows that I use, for any given look. This is a Lorac palette, and then that darker brown is what I'm going to use to kind of go in on my outer corner there a little bit to kind of just deepen that up. And honestly, yeah, these colors are like what I use every day. I go for this kind of warm, bronzy brown look on a daily basis. I just feel like I know it works for me. It kind of goes with just about everything that I wear. So I do kind of on some days I do a little bit less of the dark brown. I might keep it a little bit more natural, and then some days a little bit more of the dark brown. So I might vary how much I use of any given color, but I kind of stick to these colors and this scheme and this look on an everyday basis because I just feel like I know it works for me, and as a mom who works and always has stuff going on, it's just nice to have like a go-to look that I feel works and looks good, and I can just do it without thinking. I have to look up what this palette is because I don't remember. I think it's NYX. But again, another bronzy palette. I have a bunch of bronzy palettes. With a flat brush, just going to pack that on kind of the my mobile lid there, from the middle to like the inner corner. I always kind of, use a shimmery, usually use like a shimmery bronze color for this part, although it might be different ones on different days, but that's kind of how I always do it. I do my crease and my outer corner with, different shades of matte, warm brown and bronzy colors, and then I'll do like a shimmery shade on my lid. I just really like that on me. And then I do, because, as I said, so my eye shape is kind of difficult, and it makes winged eyeliner super difficult. I have spent like years trying to do winged eyeliner that I think looks good, that I can be consistent with, that works for my eye shape and doesn't look stupid, and I'm so picky about it. So I don't always do winged eyeliner. I mean, a lot of times I don't, or I'll do just like a really tiny little flick. I tend not to do like a sleigh wing, on a daily basis. I will if I'm gonna, be doing like a full on look with false eyelashes and whatnot, then I definitely do like a bigger wing, but not on a daily basis. Oh, and I guess I'm gonna conceal before I do that, but that's just Glamoflauge again, in a lighter color than I did for the rest of my face. I do just a little bit of it in a lighter color underneath my eyes, and then I also go in with the Maybelline Age Rewind, like brightener, underneath my eyes, because I really like that brightener shade. It's got that kind of pinky undertone that really helps to brighten underneath the eyes, and then I'll put that kind of on my chin and on my forehead as well to kind of do some highlighting of my face. And sometimes I'll use a damp beauty sponge to blend that in, and then sometimes I use a brush. It really kind of just depends on either what I feel like or what's clean, because I'm also so lazy about washing my brushes and whatnot. But this is an EcoTools brush. I think they call it like their angled kabuki, but I really like it for underneath my eyes. I feel like it works really well for blending that out. Excuse me. But I like to kind of, make sure I highlight those key points of my face. And I realize that, like, in terms of a daily routine, this is a pretty full-on daily routine. And honestly, I do have a pretty full-on daily routine. I don't do this, literally every day of the week Sundays included, lazy days, you know, absolutely not. But I do typically do this Monday through Friday, especially because I do work outside the home, my own business, and I have an office, and I do meet with clients, and so I do, you know, get ready and go outside and get dressed and all that good stuff. So I really like taking the time to have like a full kind of routine in the morning. However, on the weekends, I don't always do all of this. This is just Stay Matte Rimmel powder, and I'm going to kind of lightly set my face with this. I do typically set my face a little bit no matter what foundation I'm using. You know, the BB cream that I used is a pretty dewy product, and that's my Airspun, which is what I'm going to use to bake underneath my eyes and then the areas that I highlighted with a wet sponge. But what I was going to say was that the BB cream that I used is a pretty dewy product, and that foundation is more of a matte product, so I have kind of a combo on my face, and I don't feel like it has to be set hardcore, but I do like to just like lightly powder down a little bit, because I do have sort of oily skin, mostly just in my T-zone, not so much like my entire face. My entire face is pretty, like, I don't know, normal, but so I'm going to do my liner on a daily basis. I typically use just black shadow with an angled brush for my eyeliner, because, like I said, I do have partially hooded eyes and I have small eyes. If I do really thick eyeliner, that's all you will see when my eyes are open. So I don't do thick eyeliner, and I like kind of a softer look than I would get from liquid or cream. So I really like to use just black shadow on a daily basis. If I'm doing a more serious, like, heavy look, and especially if I'm wearing false eyelashes, then I do typically use like a cream potted eyeliner. I hate liquid eyeliner. I'm not good with it. So I use like a cream or a gel eyeliner if I'm doing like a more serious wing. But I tend to do just black shadow for a little bit more like diffused soft look on a daily basis. This is almost all gone, as you can see there. So I'm going to use this just to, it's the diffused light, and now I can't think of where it's from. I'm drawing a blank, but I'm going to put all the information in. I just use that when I'm dusting away my bake for like underneath my eyes and my, the areas that I highlighted. I really, really like that in terms of like giving a little bit of that kind of glowy, inner glow appearance. Those ambient lighting powders, Hourglass, that's what it's from. Hourglass ambient lighting powders are really fantastic. They're a little bit more spendy. I mean, that's not a drugstore product, but I really like it, and I feel like it's well worth it. It's lasted me a long time, but I am almost like completely out of it now, so I really do need to get some more. In fact, I might try a different shade. That one, that diffused light, is kind of like the slightly yellow tone one, I think. But they have some that are more like slightly pink toned or whatever. So I might try one of those next. And I don't wear false eyelashes on a daily basis. I love the way they look, because my lashes are not fantastic. I mean, they're fine. They're like average. I feel like they're alright. Honestly, in terms of like just aesthetic appearance, I've like debated doing false eyelashes on a daily basis, but then I'm always like, no, I just don't want to go through the effort of putting those on every day. I mean, I'm pretty good at it. It's pretty quick and easy for me now, but I still just like cannot get myself to putting that kind of effort in on an everyday basis, even though I love the way they look in terms of opening up the eye. Particularly for somebody like me that has smaller eyes, but I do just curl my lashes and put on mascara on a daily basis. I'm going to do some bronzing here, so this is just my drugstore bronzing powder, and I kind of do like a diffused bronzing slash contouring all in one on a daily basis. But I do kind of carve out my cheekbones, especially underneath my bronzer a lot of the time, with a powder. This is kind of a warm-toned bronzer, which I feel works for my skin tone. But it's not like really orangey or anything. It's just like a little bit warmer tone. It's not like, if you need a little bit more of an ashy toned bronzer, then this probably isn't it. But I don't feel like it's super orange. It's Wet n Wild. But I have to look at what shade it is because I don't remember. And then, you know, I do just a little bit kind of under my jawline, but not a lot. Just kind of what's ever left on my brush. And then I do, like I said, I do like carve out my cheekbones a little bit. So I will take my Airspun translucent powder with like a stiff contour brush that's from e.l.f. And I'll just stamp that underneath my contour to kind of help define and carve that out. So I'll let that like bake a little bit. I don't always do this, honestly. I mean, sometimes I skip it. If I'm like in a hurry and we're having like a rough morning getting going and whatnot, then I'll skip a step like this. I mean, it's not drastically important, but when I have the time to really like do all the steps that I want to do, I really like to do that. I feel like it just gives a little bit something extra, a little bit more perfection than usual. And this is Luminoso from Milani. I love Milani blushes. I mean, I virtually never use anything else other than a Milani blush. I have a couple different colors that I use, but I love that their blushes give just like a really nice kind of glow to it without being shimmery or shiny or obnoxious. They have a really great range of colors that work for me, and I just love that little bit of kind of shimmer that you get with it. I feel like it looks really healthy and it looks really nice. So I use that one and then like a more berry colored one kind of on a daily rotation that I'm just in love with. And then this is just an e.l.f. Bronzing palette, and I just take the lightest color to kind of do a highlight with an angled brush, and I could just go underneath my brows a little bit. This is like, it looks like a really light shimmery highlighter, but I feel like it's really not that shimmery. Like once you actually apply it, it's really quite subtle. So sometimes I don't like a shimmer underneath my brow, but sometimes I do want just a little bit, and I like that e.l.f. one because I feel like it's not too shimmery where it looks weird underneath my brow as a highlight, especially. I do like a little bit more shimmer on the tops of my cheeks. And I pretty much always, you know, do my highlighting, especially the tops of my cheekbones. And I do highlight my nose. I know some people don't like to do that, but I do. And then like the Cupid's bow. I don't go for like super in-your-face highlighter usually, but just, you know, something that catches the light when you turn your head. And I like those, the e.l.f. palette, like I said there, and I also like the Hard Candy like baked bronzers and highlighters. Those are two really great drugstore options that I use a lot of. Going back into my Lorac palette with that little bit lighter brown color and a pencil brush just to kind of go underneath my lash line. Sometimes I do skip this step, especially if I have done a little bit less on my eyeshadow in terms of like the darker brown color. If I went for a little bit more like subtle look, sometimes I'll skip doing anything on my bottom lashes. But if I've done like a fair amount of the dark brown on my lids, then I feel like I really do need to do something on my bottom lashes just to diffuse it a little bit to balance it out. And then just going to curl my eyelashes. I think my eyelash curler is from e.l.f. I had a Maybelline one that broke, and then I think this one's from e.l.f. And I like it. It works well. I haven't like tried a bunch of different eyelash curlers, to be perfectly honest, to know if like I have any major preferences on brands in terms of curlers, but maybe I should. Maybe I should branch out into different eyelash curlers and try something beyond drugstore. I don't think I've ever actually tried an eyelash curler that wasn't from the drugstore before. And then the mascara that I have been using forever now is, oh, I guess I'm going to wipe off my, or just brush off my bake underneath my bronzer there. But the mascara I've been using forever now is L'Oreal Million Eyes. I continue to try different mascaras, and I almost always go back to this one. I just feel like it gives me the most oomph whenever I like go back to it after having tried a different one. Like my mom will be like, wow, what do you have on your eyelashes? And like I've noticed that where, like I said, like I'll try a different one and then I'll go back to this, and then my mom will be like, what are you wearing? And I'm like, okay, so this is better. Like it does look better, right? If somebody's saying something. And I always use black or like very black, and I also use waterproof eyeliner. If I don't use waterproof, I really have issues with it, like coming off and not staying, especially like on my lower lash line. So I pretty much always buy waterproof mascara. I've tried not going the waterproof route before, and it just does not seem to work for me. And I do have a tendency to go back and like perfect a little bit more on my brows throughout my routine, because I'll be like doing my makeup and then all of a sudden I'll notice like, oh, it looks like there's a spot that I slightly missed and I want to fix it. This is Milani lip liner. In addition to loving the Milani palette for my eyeshadow and like their blushes, I also love their lip products. I use a lot of their lip products. So I have a number of different like lip liners in various colors, and I have quite a few different lipsticks from Milani because I love their formula. I love the colors that they have. This is my go-to, like kind of Your Lips but better color. I'll have to look up what color it is because I don't know as I'm sitting here doing this voiceover. But I use their pencil and their like cream lipstick. And then sometimes I put a gloss over it and sometimes I don't. I'm going to today. But sometimes I kind of skip that step. But I love their range of colors, and they have a lot of different nude tones. So not, it's not just one or two. They have quite a few different ones. This is just like the kind of peachy, pinky, barely, nude color that works really well for me personally, and I love it. I've used it a ton. So that's kind of the last step. Well, I'm going to put a gloss over it, but last step in my process of daily getting ready. Like I said, I apologize for this not being the best lighting in the world and it being washed out through some of the video. I'm going to look at my balance and do a better job of trying to correct for that next time. But I really have like zero experience in filming something like this. So I've been trying to like watch a couple like videos from like some beauty gurus and learn a little bit about how to shoot a makeup video. So I'm going to improve hopefully. But thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Bye guys!